name is John Van Helsing, great-grandson of the Van Helsing, so I really don't have to explain what I do for a living, but what I have to say is very important. It's about the truth behind the first vampire, and of course I'm talking about Dracula. What people know about Dracula was all a lie. What am I talking about? Many people thought Dracula was a man, but what I'm about to tell you is Dracula was indeed a woman. I first found this out when I left this room and went through my great-grandfather's things and found out the history was wrong about Vlad Tepes. But he was involved in the world's biggest cover-up about vampires because it was his daughter, Alana. She was the first vampire. Like you, I was shocked to hear the truth about the first vampire. I heard stories about Vlad's daughter, how sweet and innocent she was, but I did some digging and found out that sweet little girl, whatever her whole life turned to ashes. And the story went like this. Alana was an elegant young lady, just as her mother and father had raised her to be. Very sophisticated until one day her beauty was noticed by a noble man who also came from a wealthy family. And when she saw him, and he saw her for the very first time, it was love at first sight. Then, like in a fairy tale, they fell in love with one another and had a family. But sadly, to say that happy ending will come, not very happy at all. After Vlad had left his kingdom to his daughter and his new son-in-law, he left and went to war, not knowing the horror that awaits his daughter. A bunch of vandals had overrun the kingdom, destroying everything in sight and killing and torturing the poor villagers until they made their way to the castle where Alana and her family was. Her husband tried like hell to fight off the enemy, but ended up dying in the process. One by one, the servants had met their fate, protecting the children from their certain doom. They captured the children and Alana, and as they burned them in chains, they made Alana watch as they tortured and killed her own children in front of her. It just kept getting worse. They had beaten and raped Alana. Her mind began to break, and she wished she was dead instead of her family. But that never came. The enemy had continued to torture her over and over, day by day. One night, when Alana was alone in her solitary cage, she heard a voice call out to her. A demonic type of voice.
My poor child, do you wish to get revenge on those cruel creatures called humans?
When she heard this, she cried out in a soft voice, "Yes, more than anything." The creature snickered and laughed and said to her,
"All you have to do is drink of my blood, and then you will have your revenge."
So the demonic creature took out a blade and cut his arm, told her to drink and your wish will come true. So she partake of the blood he had given her from his arm. After she was done drinking, she noticed she began to change. Her wounds began to heal quick, and her teeth began to grow in size. She also noticed she became very strong enough to break the chains that she was bound to. And her hearing wasn't the same either. She was able to hear a pin drop from 1,000 miles away. And she was able to see in the dark. She was amazed at her newfound power. But with this power came a great price. In order for her to keep her powers, she would have to feed off the blood of humans. But of course, she did not care. She only wanted revenge on those murderers. The murderers that killed her loving husband and her innocent children. She broke the bars of her prison and started to run at paranormal speed. One by one, she slaughtered them like pigs, taking her revenge for her husband and children. Then after the deed was done, she noticed the sun began to rise. Once the sunlight hit her skin, it began to burn and boil. That's when she realized she cannot be out in the day anymore. She had to hide within the shadows of darkness and feed on anyone or anything to keep alive. When night came, she knew she had to get to her father and tell him what happened to her family and to her. When she told her father the entire story and the deal that she made with the demon, Vlad was shocked and terrified. He was terrified that his daughter had become a monster. But instead of destroying her, he had to keep her hidden from the public and keep her safe. But this will not last very long. Each time he tried to lock her away, she would just escape and feed off whoever she wanted. With each passing week, a villager will go missing, and nobody would understand why. Because with each missing person, they would notice the king's carriage was in the same place the person had gone missing. The rumor was started that their king was taking the missing people and draining them of their blood and using it for some sick ritual. But that was far from the truth. But it didn't stop his daughter. Alana just kept on killing and getting stronger, and with each passing year, she has noticed she never aged, not even a day. And everyone she knew was dead and gone, and it was sad. She also regretted making the deal afterward, even though she got her revenge. She knows she will never see her family in the afterlife, because if she did die, her soul will cast down to hell for all eternity. So she continued to live on through the ages and continued to feed on people through history. After being a vampire for so long, she was able to pick up a few tricks, like shape-shifting, turning into anyone or anything she wanted. That's why she was able to move about history without being noticed all these years. And that's why people thought that Vlad was the vampire. She preferred to shapeshift into men sometimes, because back then, men were considered stronger than women, and that women had no place or say that a man does. She was able to go unnoticed this way. Until now. It is the year 2020. She has taken the shape back into her former self. Beautiful, stunning, young woman. But looks can be deceiving. Under all that beauty lies a monster. And it's up to me to hunt her down, like my ancestors before me. To hunt her, and to destroy her once and for all, before she kills anyone else, as she has all these years. So before I leave you a warning. If you are out late partying, make sure you stay with a crowd of people, and don't go out alone. And for the love of God, if you see a strange woman out late and nobody is around to help you, run before it is too late, because the next thing you will ever see is your blood dripping to the ground before you die. So farewell, my friends. With love, John Van Helsing.